We've heard from people who are missing appointments, be it for hospital or work or whatever it might be as a result of the protests. And we're joined now by Eimear Murphy, the service coordinator with Obair, of course, great service in Newmarket-On-Fergus, working with people of all ages to combat exclusion as well as to develop enterprise in the area, and lots of brilliant services and supports there. Eimear, thanks very much for joining us on Morning Focus.
Hi Alan, thanks for having me.
No problem at all. And, I mentioned you're on kind of, I suppose, to speak about one of the consequences of the fuel protest is, and one of the great services you provide is your Meals on Wheels service. But we know so many different services have been impacted by the fuel protests. How have things been for Obair? Actually, maybe before we get to that, maybe for listeners not familiar, can you tell us a bit more about the Meals on Wheels service and how extensive it is around Clare?
Yeah, of course. So I suppose many people locally will know our Meals on Wheels service here that's been around for over 20 years now. It started off very small in the village, and I suppose over time we've had requests to move into different areas across the county. So we would have 12 vans on the road currently, Monday to Friday, delivering across communities in County Clare, North Clare, West Clare, East Clare, Eimear, all over the county, covering all areas. There's a few areas we haven't got to yet, but we're getting there. So this week has kind of been a little bit challenging for us, but we're happy to say that we've managed to, there's nobody that hasn't got a meal, there's nobody that will not get a meal. Our customers are very aware, they're very supportive of the protest that's happening, as are we, and we're working with everyone. I suppose if there is any delays, we haven't actually received that many calls to say, my meal hasn't arrived yet. People are very understanding. Once they have all the information, they're understanding of the delays, and they're expecting it. We will say that every meal is delivered safe. We're primarily a hot meal delivery service. We deliver a 2-course hot meal to older people in the county, but we sometimes deliver chilled meals. So we have branded vans that would say Obair Community Services and Obair Meals on Wheels on them, and some of our vans aren't actually branded. So we have to say if we have met any issues along the way, and once we've explained what we're doing, that there's been
understanding
no
there, has there?
100%. Okay. Once you say, we're delivering meals on behalf of the HSE, we're delivering meals to older people across the county, and as I suppose, these are people who might have diabetes or things like that. It is kind of vital in certain situations that they get their meal at a certain time. So, a huge, credit to our volunteers and our staff here who are driving on these roads this week, because it's taken a huge amount of patience and a huge amount of local knowledge and vigilance and things, just to make sure to know that this person needs to get their meal by 1:30. We'll go here now, we'll reroute a little bit, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So there's an awful lot of care and consideration involved in this as well, Alan. But I have to say we fully support the protest. These are the people out on the roads that we stood side by side with during COVID, that helped us with deliveries, that set up, little community deliveries across the county, that help us out when we're stuck in ditches and things like that when we're back west. And, so we fully support it, and we're working with everyone involved. Yesterday was a little bit stressful when it came to the forecourts closing and things like that.
Yeah, and that's an aspect I wanted to ask you about, Eimear, because it's one thing you're managing to pretty much successfully get around the blockades or being slowed down delivering the meals, and delivering those meals is important because it's filling people's bellies, but also it might be one of the rare bits of social interaction they get too.
Absolutely.
But the actual panic and over service stations running out of fuel, indeed some of them did. How have you found that? How did you find it yesterday and into today? So, were you caught short anywhere, or did you just fill up in anticipation of it?
We were okay. I suppose we're always in anticipation. We've great team of staff and a great support staff here at the Treasury Centre, which is the kitchen, the production kitchen where we produce the meals daily. So we did anticipate it, but we never panic. And I suppose we're very lucky in a way that we have, a few years ago, we were able to purchase 3 electric vans, and we also have since purchased another electric van. So we're very lucky with the support we've received from local companies and the HSE and the Public Dormant Account Fund, that we were able to purchase those. So we had a little bit of a backup in that we said if anything happened, we might do a second run in the afternoon with the electric vans. But it didn't come to that. We were happy to say yesterday everyone got on the road and everyone got through. and with the challenges involved, but a little bit of patience, and everything went off okay, and everyone got a meal, which is the most important thing to us. As you say, for a lot of people we deliver to, it's the only social interaction they might have during the day. Now, we deliver to a huge range of vibrant older people in the county, but it's just some areas might be a little more isolated. And I suppose you'll have people who are conserving their diesel and their petrol as well, especially with the weekend coming in, not knowing, what's happening next week. So hopefully things get resolved.
Hopefully so, and good that you have electric vans. And I'd be interested to see how sales of electric vehicles go in the weeks and months after this crisis ends, if and when it ends. I think a lot more people are going to be casting a gaze towards purchasing an electric vehicle in future. But Eimear, great to hear that your services are, and particularly the Meals on Wheels, is managing to continue, because it's such a vital service. So thank you very much for bringing us up to date on that.
Alan.
Thank
you.
Really
appreciate it. All the best.
Eimear Murphy there, the service coordinator with Obair in Newmarket-On-Fergus.